Welcome, seekers of wisdom, as we embark on an introspective exploration of a timeless moral quandary. Today we unravel the intricacies of balancing individual rights against collective good, inviting you to ponder when sacrifice might be justified and when it undermines the essence of moral integrity. Let us trace the contours of two starkly contrasting ethical landscapes. Imagine standing at the intersection of a vast sunrise. On one side, the utilitarian path stretches out, where the moral compass points to achieving the greatest good for the largest number. Here, every decision weighs its consequences on the scales of collective benefit, inviting us to consider actions based on their ability to deliver overall happiness or reduce suffering. Yet, if you pause and look to the other horizon, deontological ethics emerges, rooted in unwavering principles that echo the belief in the inherent worth of every individual. This perspective challenges us to reflect on the sanctity of personal rights and the idea that some moral imperatives must remain inviolable, regardless of the outcomes they produce. In the realm of utilitarian thought, the focus shifts to outcomes, where the morality of an action is intertwined with the tally of its positive effects. It is an approach not without its own complexities, as the promise of a better collective future sometimes whispers the possibility of sacrificing individual voices on the altar of majority benefit. Yet deontological ethics stands as a counterpoint, reminding us that the very act of sacrifice can erode the moral foundations upon which a just society is built. It poses an enduring question: can the imperatives that protect every individual's dignity coexist harmoniously with a relentless pursuit of mass welfare? This philosophical battleground invites us to consider that perhaps the tension between these theories is not merely about choosing one over the other, but understanding the intricate dance between them. Through this exploration of ethical theories, we are drawn into a dialogue that challenges our innate beliefs, urging us to ponder how our actions, both individual and collective, shape the moral fabric of our lives. Imagine stepping into a realm where every decision feels like a delicate dance between heart and mind, where fixed intuitions begin to dissolve under the pressure of extraordinary circumstances. Consider a scenario where a leader must choose between saving a handful of innocent lives and sacrificing them for the possibility of a greater good. At first blush, the answer might seem obvious, yet as the situation unfolds, the complexity of our moral fabric becomes apparent. Such thought experiments challenge us to question our comfort zones, inviting us to interrogate which moral principles we are willing to bend and which we hold as sacred. Picture a situation reminiscent of the classic trolley dilemma, but stripped of its simplicity, where the cost of action is measured not just in lives, but in the erosion of trust, integrity, and the intrinsic value we assign to every individual. Through these illustrative scenarios, we are nudged into a reflective inquiry. Can an act justified by a beneficial outcome ever truly honor the dignity of those who are sacrificed? As the layers of these dilemmas unfold, our decision-making process is rendered increasingly intricate, pushing us beyond conventional moral boundaries and compelling us to look inward. It is in these moments of moral turbulence that the interplay between ethical theory and human judgment becomes most palpable, reminding us that the quest for a just solution is seldom linear. The very act of questioning, of probing deeper than surface-level intuitions, enriches our understanding of morality, urging us to see that behind every decision lies a story of ethical struggle and the eternal conflict between what is right for the many and what is non-negotiable for the one. Within the quiet softness of everyday life, our choices often echo far beyond the immediate moment. The idea of sacrificing a few for the benefit of many, once confined to abstract thought experiments, reveals its complexities in the realm of real decision-making. It is not merely a theoretical puzzle, but a profound challenge woven into daily interactions, moments when the promise of collective welfare must be balanced against the inviolable worth of each individual. Imagine a leader whose decision, driven by the imperative to ensure collective survival, inadvertently diminishes the dignity of a few. In such situations, the line between utilitarian calculation and a steadfast respect for the individual blurs. The scales of justice tremble under the weight of our choices, inviting us to question whether a policy that benefits the majority might still undermine the unique narrative embedded in every life. Each decision we make carries ethical significance, whether it unfolds in the corridors of power or within the intimacies of personal life. From policy making that affects the duration of someone's struggle to everyday choices that prioritize one need over another, the tension between the greater good and individual integrity remains ever-present. For while utilitarian thought promises a future built on collective benefit, it risks subsuming individual stories into mere data points, erasing the rich qualities that define our humanity. This tension challenges us to listen to an inner dialogue steeped in both reason and emotion. It calls us to reflect on whether the sacrifice of one, even for a perceived greater good, can ever truly honor the intrinsic value that each person holds. The pursuit of collective welfare is seductive in its promise of progress, yet it is a reminder that every decision casts a long shadow, leaving behind traces of loss that no numerical balance can erase. In the quiet spaces between our daily actions, we are reminded that ethical deliberation is not a sterile calculation, but a deeply human engagement with life's uncertainties. Our moral compass, informed by both societal norms and personal conviction, invites us to question if the ease of a utilitarian choice might come at the expense of something irreplaceable. Each moment of reflection deepens our understanding that the dance of morality is intricate, one in which the pursuit of the many must always be measured against the sanctity of the one. Thus, as we navigate the fabric of our interactions, we are called to a mindful awareness. The path toward a just society is illuminated not simply by the sum of its parts, but by the quiet, collective acknowledgement that every life is essential to the whole. In the quiet aftermath of our exploration, we find ourselves gazing into a mirror crafted by the interplay of reason and emotion, a mirror revealing the multifaceted nature of our ethical lives. Every question posed and every dilemma examined serves as a reminder that moral decision-making is not a destination, but an evolving journey, one that invites us to engage in honest self-reflection. It is in the spaces between our convictions and our actions that we encounter the delicate balance required to navigate the spectrum of moral accountability. We have seen that the call for the greater good can resonate deeply with our duty to honor the singular dignity of each person, producing a dynamic tension that defies simple resolution. The insights gathered compel us to pause and consider how our choices, whether made in the corridors of power or in the intimate moments of daily life, are imbued with both promise and consequence. Every decision becomes a small act of creation or destruction, a testament to the inherent paradoxes that define our shared humanity. In this reflection, the invitation remains open to consider where we stand along the spectrum of moral accountability. The dialogue is not simply a debate of abstract principles, but a personal reckoning with our roles as stewards of both collective welfare and individual integrity. Amid this silent conversation, we recognize that true wisdom lies in acknowledging complexity rather than surrendering to easy answers. By embracing the interplay of ethical ideals and human imperfections, we nurture a compassionate understanding that every judgment carries weight, a weight that speaks to the profound responsibility we bear as custodians of moral truth. Thus, in synthesizing our insights, we arrive at a balanced perspective that neither glorifies the sacrifices made in the name of progress, nor dismisses the nuances of individual worth. We are left with a reflective echo that challenges us to engage in continuous inquiry, to ask ourselves whether our actions genuinely reflect the respect and care we owe to both the many and the one. It is a call to remain vigilant in the face of ethical uncertainty, and to honor the sacred dialogue between what is ideal and what is real, ever mindful that our journey towards moral accountability is as much about the choices we make as it is about who we aspire to become.